Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our first webinar from Brook, live demo. And today I'll take you through a brief introduction of what Brook offers and why we are on this journey and how it's been performing so far. And we also have eminent panelists with us. We have Vivian from the Josephine's Day Spa and Salon, and we have Detlef, both of whom are very successful salon owners with over 40 years of experience. And they are here actually on the journey with Brook. They are one of our early adopters, and they are helping us shape Brook and what Brook is today. And you will get to hear from them on their journey, their experiences, and what their guidance and recommendation around Brook would be. And so with that, I'll quickly get into an introduction and we'll go from there. So every salon owner knows the pain of ringing phone when you cannot answer them, right? So you're always trying to figure out, should I answer the call or should I serve the customer in front of me? And the answer is obvious. You serve the customer in front of you. So whether it's peak hours, holiday, or after hours, missed calls can be lost revenue. And your front desk is always already overwhelmed. So manual voicemail follow-up is a time sink. So how do you, and these are the key problems that we wanted to tackle when we set on the journey of building Brook. Now with Brook, it's a 24/7 AI receptionist. It doesn't just answer phones. She integrates directly into your existing salon software system. So she knows and understands how your business operates without you having to do any coaching or configuration or administrative tasks. So it's zero overhead from that perspective. She also works through night and through the holidays, freeing your team to focus on providing the elite guest experience that they deserve. And some of the numbers that we are observing tell a story. So we see the overall call volume when it goes through Brook that needs human attention drastically comes down. So Brook handles end-to-end about 65% of the calls that Brook answers, and only about 25 to 30% or 35% ever needs a human attention. And there's always going to be scenarios where you're going to need somebody in your salon assisting the customer. And that's where Brook is intelligent enough to make that transfer. We also consistently see around or over $5,000 in average revenue booked through Brook. And of course, there is zero voicemails and zero missed calls. Now, best of all, it's a turnkey setup. It's a single virtual assistant that handles calls. We are introducing text support as well. So Brook can be available answering text messages and also bring that to your staff on the front desk and also through web chat. So you have a single assistant that's able to allow you to be available for your customers across all channels. Now, you might worry that about the AI field, how natural it might be and whether your guests might be ready to adopt AI. And what we have seen in initial observation is that guests love them, especially the older generation, when they realize that they can call in at any point in time and they can have a conversation and get their requests taken care of. And we'll probably hear some of this from our panelists as well. And one longtime client. So this was an actual, a real event that was narrated to us by our salon client. So one longtime client even thought Brook was a real person and asked to meet the new girl when she arrived for her appointment. So even older clients find that virtual assistants are seamless and easy to use. So with that, let's quickly jump into the exciting part. So we're going to have Jyoti on our team right now present a couple of demos. So we'll first go through a voice demo to understand how Brook interacts, and then we will showcase our dashboard. Over to you, Jyoti.
Hello, everyone. I'm very excited to show you how Brook works in action. So let me just share my screen. All right, is my screen visible? Okay, great. So this is me calling Brook as a returning customer. I'm calling to cancel, and you'll see what happens.
Hi, Vivian. Welcome back to Brookside Salon. I'm Brooke, a virtual assistant helping out our front desk. Are you calling to reschedule your upcoming appointment on Friday, January 16th?
Yeah, I don't think I can make that appointment anymore. So could you help me cancel that, please?
I see we grabbed you for a short hair scissor cut. with Staff Parker Posey at 10 a.m. on Friday, January 16th. Do you want to cancel it?
Yeah, could you cancel that?
Would you like to reschedule this appointment instead of canceling?
Oh, yeah, I think that could work. I do have availability on Saturday. Do you have any opening on Saturday?
Let me check available times for Saturday. One moment while I look this up. Here are available times for Saturday, 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m., or 10 a.m. with Staff Parker Posey. Which would you like?
Okay, cool. I think 10 a.m., the same time works for me.
Would you like to add an appointment note for your Saturday 10 a.m. reschedule?
Could you just add that I have thick hair, please?
Here's what I have. We're rescheduling your short hair scissor cut appointment with Parker Posey from Friday, January 16th at 10 a.m. to Saturday, January 17th at 10 a.m. with a note that you have thick hair. Can I go ahead with this?
Yes, please.
Rescheduling now. One moment. Please hold. Your appointment has been rescheduled. Is there anything else you would like help with?
No, I'm just so happy that I can actually get my hair cut this week. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Joby. I'm glad we could help. Have a great haircut.
All right, thank you. So just to highlight a few things, Brook is doing a lot of smart history lookup, and also in this case was able to convert my cancellation into a reschedule. So you still have that appointment on the books. Let me show you another little example where I'm calling, actually, Vivian, we called your salon. So I'm calling as a new customer. Let me just share that.
Welcome to Josephine Day Spa and Salon Eldridge. I'm Brooke, a virtual assistant helping out our front desk. What can I do for you today?
Hey, I would like to get my lashes done. I'm looking for an appointment for 5th of March.
Do you already have an existing account with our salon?
No, I don't.
No problem. I can create an account later if needed. Let me check the types of lash services we offer. One moment, please. You mentioned lashes. Some of the options include classic lash, hybrid lash, or volume lash. Do any of those sound right? Or would you like to hear more?
Could you just tell me what the classic lash is?
Classic lash uses vegetable dye tinting to add fullness and lasts about 4 to 6 weeks. Would you like to book this service?
Do you know how much it would be, the price?
Let me check the price for classic lash. One moment, please. The starting price for classic lash is $136. Would you like to book this service for March 5th?
Yeah, let's go ahead, thanks.
Great. For classic lash, would you prefer Christine or Karina as your staff?
Oh, actually, my friend recommended Karina. So yeah, let's go with Karina.
Perfect. Let's book classic lash with Karina. What time on March 5th works best for you?
Just early in the day, what do you have?
Let me check Karina's availability for early time on March 5th. One moment, please. Karina has morning availability starting at 3 p.m., 3:15 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. on March 5th. Do any of those times work, or should I check for other dates?
3:15 should work.
Would you like to add an appointment note?
No, I don't need to add a note.
Here's what I have. You requested a classic lash with Karina on Thursday, March 5th at 3:15 p.m. at Eldridge. The starting cost is $136. Can I book this appointment?
Yes.
Before proceeding with your booking, I'll need to create an account for you. Can you spell out your first name?
Jyoti.
Name. And can you spell out your last name for me as well?
Iyer.
your first name as Jyoti. Your last name as Iyer. Is that all correct?
Yep.
Your account has been created and your booking is confirmed. You are all set.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, that's all.
Thanks for calling Josephine's Day Spa and Salon. Have a wonderful day.
Okay, bye-bye. So I wanted to show you there, not only did Brook create an appointment according to my preferences, it answered my questions. I genuinely did not know what types of lash services were available. And it also went ahead and created that client account for me. So these are all tasks that your staff doesn't have to do anymore. Vinay, I'll just move over to the dashboard now.
Yeah, so you now have an account with Josephine, so you can start booking.
I intend to. All
All
right.
right, now
So
let's take a look at, so this is great, right? So let's take a look at how, as an owner, you get visibility into what is happening with this data and what kind of insights are you able to derive.
yeah, so with the data dashboard, we're trying to really serve two types of people. We're trying to really help out owners and managers to understand the insights from their business and to understand the value that Brook is providing to them on a daily basis. So you can see a lot of stuff here, like how many calls did Brook resolve? What is the amount of revenue that Brook actually booked in these calls that she's handling? You can also see things like, what are your clients actually calling you for? What is the reason for engagement? So, for example, most people would be calling to book an appointment. And then what happened on these calls, making sure that Brooke is actually doing what she's supposed to do. So in this case, most appointments did end up getting booked. But there's also always going to be, like Vinay said, examples where either your policy has a certain restriction, like someone called to to cancel an appointment within a 24-hour window. So Brook might not let them do that if that's your policy. So there's a lot of situations where you might want to actually follow up with the client later. And this is what we want to do with follow-ups. We really want to serve your staff who's actually making those follow-up calls, and we want to make this process as easy for them as possible, and also give the owners and managers some insight into whether these follow-ups are actually being done on time and so on. So one thing that we've done very recently that we're really proud of is you can actually just track these things here. You can look at every single call that was tagged as to follow up, and you can actually look at the entire transcript. So here's an example where a client called to cancel an appointment, but the appointment was not canceled for some reason. You can go in and look at the transcript to see what really happened. So in this case, the client made a call and somehow just hung up at the point of making a decision. This is something that happens sometime. Maybe they lost their signal. For whatever reason, this call didn't end in a resolution. So you have an easy way actually to see what happened and call this person back. And you can see their full name and their phone number. So you can easily make that call back. And once you're done, you can actually mark this as done. And so you can write a note here. I helped them cancel, and this can help you keep a record of all the follow-ups that have been done, and then your note appears here as well. Over to you, Vinay.
Thank you, Jyoti. So I had a couple of questions come in from the audience here. So one was, what happens if when the system is down? And the answer is, if the system is fully down, the phone's going to ring like it does today before Brook was ever in place. So you still don't lose connectivity. But the follow-up question there was, how typically can we detect and respond to this? So touchwood, so far we've had zero downtime with Brook. But if Brook is down, we do have continuous monitoring and alerting system set up. So we know if there is an issue or a challenge, and we will first notify the salon owners so that they are aware. But there should be no disconnection between the salon and the customers, because the calls will still land on their front desk. But we will resolve that as soon as possible. Now, with that, let's quickly move over to having the conversation. So, I'm really glad that we have Detlev and Vivian with us. And the reason I invited them and they immediately accepted is because they've been on this journey together. And I would like to hear from them. First, maybe let's start with Detlev on what was your experience bringing Brook on board? What was your initial interaction and experience like? How did you go? How did you process this?
Well, initially we were like, absolutely not. We're not using an AI. This is not going to happen. The front desk was like, no, we're not doing this. Our clients will not like it. So it was a lot of resentment initially. But I believe you need to try out before you judge, right? So then we started. And like with anything else you start, there's going to be some hiccups in the beginning, right? Did you like with that phone call just with the eyelashes? We didn't have some descriptions in some of the things we have. So when a client was asking, "What is that?" Oh, guess what? We didn't put it in our software. So we had to we had to be better in our software setup a little bit, which was not a big deal. But like I said, we were skeptical, and I tell you honestly, I was very skeptical. And but then we started using it, and people were like, "Who is this? And what is this?" All I can tell you that over the 3 months, I think we've been using it now, people are getting used to it more and more and more. And I see that how they more and more people book, people feel comfortable booking. So in the beginning, they were like, virtual, like why? And I had what just to give a quick episode. I had one client. She is in a very high-end business with a lot of locations, and she is the person about customer service. So when she came in, I thought she would like literally scream at me, right? What do you mean I got a virtual assistant, right? And she actually said, "Oh my gosh, it was such a pleasant experience. I didn't expect that." Like the voice, the interaction, right? So I think yes, you're going to be like in the beginning, your staff is going to be, oh, I don't know about this. But for us, it's a learning curve, obviously, like anything else in life. But I think the more you do it and the more you tweak it in the long run, the better it becomes, right? Now my staff doesn't want to live without it. Like they can during the day, they can take for my me for me the whole point of bringing it in was I wanted the staff, the guest service team to spend more time talking to guests about retail. So they didn't have to be on the phone every other second. So that was my whole reason behind it, right? And now they can do that. So that was my initially, yeah, it's a little bit you're like, ooh, but then,
Yeah, no, thank you, Detlef. And I'll put the same question to you, Vivian, but I know I've seen you um, both empower and rely on your staff, on your managers across your different locations that you operate and so on. So, please tell us your perspective and experience both as an owner and also maybe some color as to how your team was receiving this.
Okay, so I don't recall when did we get on board, but I feel like it's been a while now. And
Yes.
so initially, I wasn't skeptical at all. I could not wait for something like this because we actually used some other AI booking technology in the past. Um, so we did do the like Textel, but then needed a lot of it's basically manual communications. Then we moved to AI texting booking, and then that company went away. So I was literally waiting for something like this to happen because I had about like 2, 3 years of gap. So especially being a testing salon, I was used to having AI booking, but via text and not phone. So I was really happy and excited to get on this journey and learn about it and also help Rosie to actually create this and better the service. So in the beginning, for my staff and my front desk, it wasn't anything new for them. The difference will be now this with this platform is through the phone calls. But of course, after we have few meetings with you guys, then I presented to the managers. We talked about the pros and cons, what we're looking for, what we're lacking in the business. And from there, we also then, when we decided to jump on to be at one of the testing salons, I had a meeting with the front desk, show them how this thing worked. And we also introduced this to our staff. We introduced this to our staff just like the way that we actually send an e-blast and post it on our social media. We made a little image and then let the guests be, letting them know that starting, this day, we are now introducing, we have a new front desk assistant, virtual assistant. Her name is Brook. Let's welcome her. So people were kind of like already aware of what's happening. And again, my customer was very used to AI booking, through text. However, I realized that the people that who still calls and not because we still have the texting function, through our POS system. So the demographic is very different. So then the people that who are calling was probably a little bit taken away from, by, oh, what is this? But like anything else, when we first introduced texting, that took a long time for people to get used to. And now majority of my calls are not calls anymore. The communication with the guests is mostly, I think over 60 to 65%, they're texting. So then with the Brook AI, in the beginning, most people will hang up, right? And then they will call again, or they will immediately ask to speak to a representative. But I think that now that volume is picked up where Brook is booking a little bit more appointments. So initially, I think our staff and my stylist or the front desk, they were very happy and excited to have something like this because I think our needs are a little bit different, and we can talk about this when we go over to our daily practice. But initially, I was excited. Everybody was very acceptive. My clients were, very open to it. Other than one person just said, the image that I created, not Brook itself, but then the image that I created was a little bit creepy because I made it like really robot-like. So, if anybody wants to bring in Brook and want to, let the clients know that, this is something that we're doing, maybe use the image that you made, not the robot image that I made.
No, that's a very good point. I think two takeaways for me there, right? So one is it is very important to not surprise your customers, to let them know that you're adopting something new and bring them as stakeholders in the journey so that they know what is happening. And the other important thing is I think we should give you the stock images or even a social media post that you can use to promote that. I think that's a takeaway for us. So that's great. And so now, I'm curious. So, as we were working on this, and just for the audience here, right? So, when originally Brooke started out on the journey, and Vivian and Detlef know this, they were all getting emails for every single interaction that would take place. So, they know exactly what was happening, and then they would get a report on a daily basis. We have since switched to the dashboard that you just saw in the demo. So, I'm curious, Detlef, like what was life like before in terms of understanding how many interactions were coming into your salon, what was happening with that, how many voicemails do you respond to? Did you have an idea in terms of how that was working out? And then how do you contrast that with what the dashboard can offer you today?
I can tell you this. I was always a little nervous that they answered the email, that they looked at the email, that they didn't get lost, that they ever checked email constantly, right? That was my concern a little bit with the emails. Since we switched to dashboard, I can tell you one thing. My front desk staff absolutely loves it because now they can actually do a follow-up because we have different people throughout the day. It's not the same person from morning to night. So now they can, the next person comes in, they go on the dashboard or say, what else needs to be followed up on, right? So for me, that honestly, that's probably the biggest improvement I've seen is that dashboard. Like I can tell you that my front desk, when I introduce emails, right? So that the dashboard really helps. And the good thing is that you can see the whole conversation. So they actually can go back and look at all of that. So when they call back, they sound a lot more intelligent because they know exactly why the guest called.
Yeah, and if you remember the emails, we had a whole bunch of icons to kind of make it easy, emojis. A lot of that
Right.
suggestion actually came from Vivian. So she was like, emails are great, but I want visuals. I want emojis to understand
Yeah.
exactly what was
Yes.
going on. And we're trying to bring some of those the mechanisms to notify visually whether something is urgent and so on and so forth, next day or a same day appointment, etc., back into the dashboard. But that's a good segue into Vivian. Like you've seen the emails evolve. You've given us a lot of good feedback, and you've seen the dashboard and use it right now. So what was your take? You're on mute. I think Vivian.
Yes, the reason why I recommended those emojis is because I have two locations, and one location has one manager, the other location has two managers with about five front desk. And so, but everybody, all the staff works probably 35 to 40 hours a week, and the owner, everybody knows you're the only person who works 24/7. So very naturally, those email notification was designed to send to me. I do not work inside the salon. I'm not a, licensed stylist. So I'm always out and about. I work at my desk. I do a lot of networking events. So I'm constantly getting emails. I just cleared it, but I got 30 more. And it was all individual email notifications. And the subject line doesn't really tell me what I need to do about it. So I have to open every single one. That's the beginning of the journey, right? So I have to open every single one and to find out which location this is, and then does this need the attention or not? Then I forward it to the manager from, at that location. If this manager is off, then I email it to another to make sure that, these are followed up. And so I think with the emojis kind of like gave us a quick glance. Oh, this needs attention. This is already taken care of, so I can just delete that. But still, I get hundreds of emails every day. So switching to dashboard, it just really made it, now that it also has a dashboard, it's on the screen where my managers and my front desk will constantly go there. So, if they're not with the guests checking in, checking out, if they're not answering a call, they will be checking on the dashboard. And the very first column, like you showed earlier, it says, need attention or call back or, done or, things like that. So everything at one glance. And this is something that now I can then just have them constantly go in and check, just like constantly going into your phone and then see what are the text messages that you received from your friends or family, right? It's kind of like the same habit that I no longer need to worry about receiving these emails and forwarding to the appropriate person. So it's definitely a game changer, and I'm looking forward to even more functionality, through that. Yeah, I cannot wait. I really love it.
Thank you, Vivian. So I know we're running out of time right now, so I'll just ask one last question to both of you. With you, Vivian, first. If you can share, your experience and sentiments working with the Brook team, and also your advice to other business owners on on a journey to adopt AI or Brook, and how they can approach it.
Okay, so two things. I actually, our last meeting when we guys were introducing the dashboard to us, I think my comment was, I've been in business for 25, years. I don't think I've ever worked with a technology company who was so fast and quick to make changes and updates and customize to your needs. And the report that I've never seen anybody made the report so easy, and everything that you need, you cannot think of any other thing. I like to nitpick and then give people a hard time. But even with that said, I was not able to find it right when I wanted to ask, but Vinay, do you have? And he said right here, so that was my experience with you guys. Very pleasant. And you guys are probably the smartest person that I've ever worked with. And so I really appreciate that. But if I can give one suggestion or my best practice from the very beginning, not only that I introduce it, announce the Brook AI to my guests, to my customers first, before they start, having these Brook AI answer the question. The other thing that I also want to mention is I did not want, because there's so many different technology, texting and, now Brook AI and online booking and everything. So I wanted to make sure that I'm not losing the fact that people are thinking we are now all technology. There's no human touch to the salon industry when they want to be pampered. So one thing that I implemented was from the dashboard. Before it was, looking through the report on a daily basis, but now it's very easy that you can do it from the dashboard. So what we do is the manager constantly going there a few times a day to look at what are the appointments that were booked by Brook that are new client. And we make a point to call that client or text that client manually and introduce them, welcome them to the salon. I see you booked your first appointment with Josephine's for this service. Can I make sure, I would like to learn a little bit more about your hair texture to make sure that Brooke booked it with the best possible stylist. So that little point, extra step, or the only step, right? Because Brooke made that appointment, but for a human to call back to make sure if she has a pixie hair, Brooke doesn't know who's the best for pixie hair. And we're able to then maybe move them and change them to another stylist, and that also welcomes them, and that also adds that extra like personal touch to take away from, oh, we're all about the technology, we're all about the transactions, and there's no customer service. So I would strongly encourage, if anybody that want to bring Brook, which will save you a lot of time. We're in Houston. We have a lot of hurricanes and like rainstorms, and our internets are down, phone lines are down more so than Brook ever was down. So I don't have to worry about those times, because during those times when internet and phones are down, I know Brook is taking care of the appointments, rescheduling or scheduling. So I cannot say enough good things about Brook. And I hope that everybody else also enjoys it as well.
No, that's a great perspective, Vivian. I think one thing that we didn't think about is like you now have the ability to manage your time, and you can still give that personal human touch because now you choose to call back when you're available and you're not trading one thing over the other, right? That's excellent. And Detlef, the same question to you.
I mean, I don't know what else I can add to this. Obviously, what Vivian said. I mean, I have to second everything she said, and I think I have to give again a compliment to you guys. In the beginning, and Jody was probably the like incredible. And you sat with me, I remember, I don't even know, 3 hours on the phone one day because our phone company could not figure out how to forward the calls correctly to Brooke. And literally, I don't know any company where somebody sat with me literally with a phone company on the phone. I think it was like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, forever to get this actually set up correctly, right? So, and again, I think that also, like what Vivian said, I think for us too, we call people back if they're the very first time for the same reason. We want to make sure they match correctly. And, sometimes they book the wrong appointment or they think they need something, but they really need something else. We look at it not as a replacement, we look at it as an add-on, especially, I tell you one thing, my staff, front desk staff loves not to listen to voicemails anymore. That's like they're like, oh my gosh, we're so happy. We don't have to listen to voice in the morning. They used to come in half an hour earlier just to listen to all the voicemails, right? They don't have to do this anymore. So that's gone, right? If our phone goes down, it still works because the phone it goes automatically forwarded, right? Um, yeah, again, I can praise you guys enough, and not because I'm on this panel today, because it really helped us as a business. It helped our front desk. It helped our retail sales, because now we can spend more time with the guest up front instead of answering the phone calls. And again, what I like about Brook, if somebody wants to talk to front desk, absolutely, we connect you to guest services again, right? So I'm glad I did it. I'm glad Yodi didn't let me off the hook when I said, I don't know if I should do this. I don't know if I keep doing this. She's like, no, just look at this and let's look at that. And I'm glad I did it because I wouldn't give it up anymore. That's for sure. It helped our business in so many ways, from a customer service experience, and even the adaptability of guests is increasing the longer we're actually using it, right? Which is also surprising to me, I have to say. Now they're much more comfortable booking an appointment, right? So again, kudos to you guys. I'm happy that you're around.
Thank you, Detlef, Vivian. Thank you for your time today. And it's great to have you and hear about Brook from the perspective of business owners. And I hope this was very helpful for our audience here. So with that, I'll conclude the presentation. Thank you.